Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. We're going to see another Dewalt game. I know we've casted a few of Dewalt playing lately, but I think he's playing really well. The game against Flash was particularly good. Yeah, the game against Jaedong, not so good there, but not a huge surprise, as it is a harder matchup and everything. And now he's going to be going up against sSak. sSak, is still definitely a top 10 Terran in the world, I think without question. In fact, where would I put him, right? So Flash is kind of off to the side. Like, he's the best, but doesn't really play all the tournaments right now. So, like, whether you want to consider him or not is up to you. But, and then you got to add in, like, Light, Sharp, and Rush. So that's 4. And then I would say Barracks. And probably you still have to put Royal up there. And Speed. So, and maybe JYJ. So something like that. So, like, I would say that sSak right now is pretty comparable to, like, JYJ level or above. I think JYJ was better before, but I don't feel like he's really delivering right now. Also, Royal's been a little bit off, even though we've had some really good games of him here. Some of his tournament play has been off, and sSak has looked a little bit better in some of these situations. So, anyways, I would put him somewhere around the JYJ Royal level, which is maybe, like, 8th best Terran, something like that. You can let me know if you would agree with that assessment. Yeah. Like, still maybe slightly above. Like, I like Scan's play better, but maybe slightly above Scan. Probably mostly due to experience. Okay. Anyways, that's kind of my assessment there. So, like, Dewalt versus, the best of the best. Nice game on Knockout. Here on Dominator, how will he do against a Terran that is an ASL regular, but not someone that you even really expect to get a round of 16, right? Like sSak, he's qualified almost every season, and you always see him there, and it's like, yeah, this could be some good games. He's got kind of a cool style, but you're never like, ooh, I think sSak's gonna make it out of this group, right? I can't even imagine a group he would ever get into seed-wise. Like, I could name 3 players that he can beat in ASL, but those people would never be in the same group together, right? So I can't think seed-wise of any group that he would make it out of realistically. But still a very good Terran, a very fun Terran to watch as well. And that was actually not a super well-timed factory, which is kind of weird. I'm not sure what was up with that, but sSak is normally one of the best optimized miners. He oftentimes has some of the fastest factories along with Royal, so that seemed a little bit weird because this spot is not hard at all to get a fast factory on. In fact, you don't even have to boost anything, although there is a boost on this patch. You just use that. Okay. I think he used it. I'm not used to that boost. Anyways, whatever. Very fast Nexus. sSak sees that, so he's going to know that this is a rangeless expansion. Against this, you do have the option of skipping a depot, especially on Dominator. Dominator is the easiest map to skip a depot on because you just kind of roam this area with your Marines and maybe a Vulture, and the Dragoons have a hard time coming up, and even if they do come up, he won't have range because this is a rangeless expansion. So sSak moves these Marines forward to that said position. He actually got add-on first. Sometimes you do have to be a little bit careful about this. Like, if they hit a Zealot or something, or maybe a Probe comes with the Dragoon at the same time. Because, like, Probe plus Dragoon actually beats 3 Marines if you get up there. But, the high ground advantage probably is enough that you're just fine anyways. Now, the SCV gets by Dewalt over here. We're going to see his range upgrade. Mines on the way, so probably a little bit of pressure going to be coming out of sSak. Range is coming up, and probably, yeah, I was going to say, probably a Robo will be coming up next here, and there it is for Dewalt. Okay. Pretty standard openers. When you see something like this into mines, generally, the Marines and Siege Tank will kind of act as something to push the Dragoons back so that sSak just gets the mines where he wants. Conversely, you could just skip the Siege Tank and make the Vultures and try to get the mines where you want, but the Dragoons have the option to possibly spread themselves out and deny or delay those mines and damage the Vultures. So this is in many ways like an easier way to get mines where you want them. But it looks like he's actually not going to push out with that. He puts down one defensive mine there. It's kind of like a funny place for it. And is adding a second factory. Okay. 2 factory after command center pushes have not been popular lately. Protoss just hasn't really been falling to them for quite some time, and Terran has kind of taken that into account, and we just don't see it very often. That doesn't mean that you have to do an attack off of this necessarily. You'll probably poke almost no matter what. So he gets a couple mines down exactly where he wants them in the 2 closest bases. Looking at Dewalt's main. Just 2 gate observer production. Very standard stuff. Second gas relatively quickly. So this points towards like maybe a later 3rd base, but more tech. And I was just going to say, and I mentioned this before, Dewalt has recently been back in Arbiter. He was very much a speed shuttle guy for a long time. I've just seen Arbiter a little bit more lately. It's kind of funny because we were talking about this recently, where I was talking about how all the new Protosses are basically speed shuttle guys. And Arbiter seems to be pretty out of meta, but it's actually just very recently, like the past few weeks, been gaining some popularity once again. I've been hitting it way, way more as well. So just want to put that out there as a possibility. I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to go Arbiter, 2-base Arb. It's a solid build. But sSak is not someone really too deterred from Arbiter or any cloaked units in general. Like the way he plays, like he'll stay on 2 factories maybe a little bit longer. He'll get like a lot of the upgrades out of the machine shops and just be in a pretty good spot. He normally gets his academy pretty quick as well. Just very technical in that way. Dewalt poking the front into this barracks. His observer getting a little bit of intel. Definitely not an army you want to go up and fight against right now. And yeah, here's the Stargate, Forge, Templar Archives. Very standard stuff from Dewalt. Now, no academy as of yet, so he actually has no idea what's going on. You know, the timing of the 3rd Nexus is not that slow, and he's seen an observer, so it's like... I don't know if he's going to read this correctly as to what it is. Yeah, it's 2 more factories. Oh, 2 more factories than academy. Okay. And look at the number of siege tanks he's making. I actually think sSak is going to try a timing push here. Yeah, the timing of his factories is correct for a timing push. Yeah, like he gets the +3 factories before 8 minutes. Getting speed, yeah, he let speed go for a bit. Saw the timing of this. Now, here's the problem. 2-base Arbiter is, in my opinion, the most robust 2-base push-holding tech that there is. To win with a 2-base push against a 2-base Arbiter Rusher, you must get a turret near the natural. Like, he basically needs a turret here. I just don't see him being able to do that. So if he does hit a push here, watch for that. Because what happens is the Arbiter comes out sometime during the push. Like, you slow the push a little bit, and the push is... sSak will have a better army, but the fact that there's Cloak is going to be an issue. And what you do is you just keep running in like 1 Speed Zealot with Cloak over and over and over, and you just keep denying everything. And in fact, he's even made a DT, which I think is a genius move to go with this. If you go 2-base Arbiter and you don't make a DT, I think you're making a mistake. Because it can walk up, harass, and it uses a scan. So we just heard a scan there from sSak. Not sure actually where he scanned. I didn't catch that quickly enough. But yeah, that like he doesn't have a lot of good detection right now. So look, this DT coming up, he's going to have to scan it. So there's a scan. He'll get it. Oh, he gets the observer. That's nice. That's nice. And his army's definitely stronger. Don't get me wrong. This is a better army than what Dewalt has. But the Arbiter is going to be popping out pretty soon. So Dewalt just needs to buy a little bit of time, and he can't let a turret get up. Look at this SCV. It wants a turret so bad you have no idea. Okay, he's going to leapfrog these tanks. He needs to be careful. He only brought 1 SCV. Okay, see, he gets one here. Okay, it's kind of a fallback turret. Getting a good position here. I feel like I could settle for a turret here. Does he have a scan? Uh-oh. Was this too fast? It was. Okay, uses the scan. The mine hits, though. Another DT. And here comes the real Cloak. So notice how he doesn't have a turret there. It's going to make this really, really hard. So even though he gets another scan off here, Dewalt just kind of powering through. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what we call game. That is not a position that you come back from. 48 SCVs. Yeah, right. Dewalt taking an additional Nexus. There's no way this will die. Maybe he slows it down a little bit, but no way that'll die. But yeah, this is, if you think your opponents are going to do 2 base pushes, all you need to know is tactically what to do with a 2 base Arbiter build, and like, it's so... Dude, it is the #1 thing not to push against. The #1 thing. Gateway Man is easier to push against. It's just like the limitations of your cloak detection are too low. Like, it's just, you don't have enough. If they whittle you down correctly, you just don't have enough. So sSak, he really tried to get that Nexus. That's not going to end up working. Brings a couple siege tanks up into a weird position. Third command center finishes. The problem is here now. Not only is he really low on supply, so even an attack move is scary, but he's going to be so spread that over here, here, and then possibly the main base from recall. These are all things that he has to think about. And he just isn't going to have enough to do anything. And by the way, you might be sitting there thinking, well, what do you do? What do you do against Arbiter? Because the game is slowed down, so I'd like to talk about that a bit more. So basically, in my opinion, is if you see Templar tech at all, just go third base. Don't even think about attacking, because cloaked units are just too much of a problem on the weak detection of 2 base Terran. Once you have the third base up, you start to build a lot more scans, and if it's a third base that has a gas, you can afford science vessels. 3 gas Terran can afford everything gas-wise. 2 gas Terran, you can't really get science vessels with that very comfortably. So you can just kind of, like, 3 base attacks are great against Arbiter. Well, sometimes, yes, sometimes no, but they're absolutely doable. So that's much more what you should be thinking about. All right, sSak pushing out. He's got that third command center landed, sending some SCVs over. His SCV count's still pretty low, but he's building it. 54. Okay, we're kind of catching up on where we need to be. He really needs like 65 workers, with a lot of them over here. Because his other base is like they've been mining so long at decent efficiency, they're getting pretty low. Nexus pretty low. I don't see any way you can really do very much about it. I don't think you can afford really getting a dropship out and utilizing units over there, especially when speed zealots can quickly run up. We even see a little group ready for that. I don't know if that's why you put those there, but they're in a perfect position to counter like a siege tank drop. And look, see this? This is just slow sieging. Sometimes a Terran in positions like this will sneak around somehow and just siege 3 tanks here and like kill this real quick. This is to slow that. Specifically, that's what this is for. Really good cannon from Dewalt. Okay. Recall is not done yet. Okay, he gets 1 stasis off before the EMP hits, so that's kind of nice. Just jumping on top of some of these tanks. I think this is going to be game. I think this is just going to be sSak calling it. So, yeah, Dewalt wins this. Look at this, 170 supply against 109. He's in the natural. We're going to see a GG. Yeah, I mean, I've been talking for a little bit about how 5-fact and 6-fact are pretty out of date right now, and they don't work very much, and a lot of Terrans just keep trying them, and sometimes they work. Like a lot of, what is it called, like a false flag or something like that, where it's like you think it's good because it won, but actually it's not. I'm surprised he even tried to go for something like that. Like, what is he even looking to hit with that push? Because, like, there were no Reavers, so, like, it probably was Templar tech. I guess if it was quick Stargate, that would work, but who would ever do that? That's not a thing. Yeah, I don't know. Not a great strategy choice from sSak. And I think he doesn't, you know, I think no one keeps track of probably the general styles of players as much as I do. So I can't be like, well, he should know how Dewalt plays. There's no real reason. Dewalt isn't like an ASL level player yet or anything. But yeah, Dewalt very oftentimes right now goes Arbiter, so. Yeah, I think that does it. Like, sSak is technically still in this game. You can't force him to leave until you use a drop hack or you kill all his buildings. He knows he's dead. I think he doesn't like the fact that he's dead, maybe. GG. All right. Good win from Dewalt, but it was mostly strategic. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but it's like his opponent did something that played exactly into his build and he crushed it, and it was basically free from there. So stuff like that happens. It's like if you do a 4-pool and your opponent has all their buildings in their main base. It's like, yeah, you're not going to win. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.